Hello everybody, Alex here. Welcome to my finance and accounting education channel. Today we are going to talk about another interesting topic. It is about United States only, but still, when we are talking about such topics, the ideas might spread to the rest of the, let's say, free world as fast as possible, and this is why I think this topic is so important. I have briefly touched this topic in several videos before. I'm linking right now one which I think was relevant also when Mr. Biden held a press conference in which he said that his administration intends to tax the unrealized capital gains. I see there is a push in this direction. From my point of view, it makes absolutely no sense. I'm not defending the billionaires. They can defend themselves, but it doesn't make any sense from economical point of view. And what I'm more worried about is that such a large scale approach might affect the stock markets, meaning reduce the gains that any shareholders basically will get, not only the billionaires. Taxing the unrealized capital gains, so moving the taxation backwards in time and not postponing it to the moment that the billionaires or the rich people will sell their shares, but doing it based on share prices increases. And I see that there is a new step. I think from my point of view, I think it's just a political trick. Usually the socialists and the communists as well, they need to find somebody who's guilty about something, and if you are talking about poverty or hunger or anything else, or inequality in the society, you need to blame it, of course, on the very rich people. And they came up with this idea of taxing the money that nobody has, not only the rich ones, even the small investors, the individual investors, not only the institutional investors, but also the private persons that are investing a few $1,000 or euros in the stock exchange, do not have the money generated by the gains of the share prices, for example, on the stock exchange, unless they sell those shares, at which moment currently the gains are becoming taxable, and they want to somehow move that in time and do it faster, because apparently, and especially with the debts increasing due to the corona pandemic fight measures, the governments want a lot of money very, very fast. So but before we jump right in, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and you will never miss an update on my site. I will do them quite regularly from now on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. You should expect new and hopefully interesting videos from me. And jumping right in, so we have a March 26 article, which is quite recent. President Joe Biden to propose new 20% minimum billionaire tax. Again, make no mistake and do not confuse this with the income tax. So if the billionaires are getting dividends, if they are getting salaries from their companies as CEOs or whatever, in whatever capacity, or bonuses or whatever kind of benefits, of course they need to be taxed. 20% probably is fair. I mean, they need to pay what they need to pay. This is not about trying to elude taxation. Okay, fiscal fraud is something else, but also optimizations are not that good, and all these loopholes should be closed from my point of view. All the fiscal paradises and moving the companies from one country to another and so on and so forth are not very fair. But we are talking about this unrealized capital gains. The billionaire minimum income tax would assess a 20% minimum tax rate on US households worth more than 100 million. Over half of the revenue could come from those worth more than 1 billion. President Joe Biden is expected to propose a new minimum tax that would largely target billionaires when he unveils his 2023 budget, according to a document obtained by CNBC. So it's about the budget for the next year. Just as I have said, The countries need a lot of money for the deficits they have created, in my opinion, through these measures to fight the corona pandemic, which anyway didn't pay off and did just create economic troubles. Called the billionaire minimum income tax, it would assess a 20% minimum tax rate on US households worth more than 100 million. Over half the revenue could come from those worth more than 1 billion. We said that already. This minimum tax would make sure that the wealthiest Americans no longer pay a tax rate lower than teachers and firefighters, the document said. Yeah, you see, this is already propaganda. I mean, unless you can substantiate this, how they are doing it, how you are closing the loophole, it's just remaining it's just, as I have said, propaganda. The proposed levy is expected to reduce the deficit by about 360 billion in the next decade, according to the document. So it's about the deficit. If a wealthy household is already paying 20% of their full income, they won't pay an additional tax under the proposal. If they pay less than 20%, they'll owe a top-up payment to meet the new minimum. The question is always, how come, if they are paying less than 20%, how come they reached that taxes, low taxation? Yeah, what's in the legislation, how they are allowed to pay 10-15% and so on and so forth, and not pay a fair tax. As a result, this new minimum tax will eliminate the ability for the unrealized income of ultra high net worth households to go untaxed for decades or generations, the document stated. So now we see what is it actually about. So it's about the unrealized, they are not even saying unrealized capital gains, they are saying income to make people believe that that is real income. It's not income. Yeah, they are capital gains which are unrealized. The new tax proposal is part of Biden's 2023 budget, expected to be released on Monday. His new spending plan would trim 1.3 trillion from the deficit over the next decade, according to a fact sheet released from the White House on Saturday. What remains to be seen is whether Congress will move forward on Biden's proposal. Last year, Senate Democrats unveiled the billionaires tax, which would have levied the unrealized capital gains of the wealthiest Americans. The measure ultimately did not proceed. Yeah, so it's failing on common sense, and I think probably this proposal, and Biden will say that he tried to have this measure, but maybe the Congress or the Senate oppose it, and it's not his fault. It's failing the basic economic concept, and yeah, I don't think it can actually work in real life. In fiscal year 2021, the federal deficit totaled nearly 2.8 trillion, about 306 billion less than in 2020, according to the Congressional Budget Office. The swift economic recovery after pandemic lows is also a factor in lowering the deficit. The White House created the American Rescue Plan, crafted to support relief to struggling Americans during the COVID crisis, for helping the economy grow 5.7% in 2021. Not only will less economic and pandemic support be needed for people and business, but a stronger economy means higher incomes for households, and this is again politics. Because of this, the government is projected to collect more than 300 billion in additional revenues compared to last year, the fact sheet stated, so that has nothing to do with this tax. What seems to be ignored is, and from my point of view, this measure is also pro-cyclic, meaning that you will tax the billionaires and you will get more money in the budget in the good years, but you might get in trouble in the bad years, and usually the bad years on stock exchanges, and not only, are also the bad years in the economy, and then you will have to give them tax credits. I don't know if just it will be money that needs to be refunded or will be put against future gains and so on and so forth, how it will work exactly. But do not forget that losses happen. We have here an example also at the beginning of February, so 1 month ago, more than 1 month ago, actually 2 months ago almost, when the share prices of Meta, formerly known as Facebook, formerly known as Prince, that was a joke of course, when the share prices tumbled, Zuckerberg, so Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO, lost 29.8 billion of his so-called unrealized income. We've seen that it's no longer called unrealized capital gain, in the largest single day loss in history. So that means that he will have to get 20% from 30 billions are a mere 6 billion, so $6,000 million. He will have to get it as a tax credit, either immediately payable or to be calculated against his future gains, surpassed only by the 35 billion that the world's richest man Elon Musk lost in November. That would be November 2021, after he tweeted about selling 10% of his Tesla stake. Musk also lost 25.8 billion from his net worth last week, Bloomberg reports. Yeah, so you see the losses are also possible, so don't count only on gains. And just to prove that, so we have an article from December 20, 2021, so it's an older article, but it's still worth mentioning. The billionaires do pay a lot of tax, but they pay it when they should be paying it. In this case, it was Elon Musk exercising his options, so getting the shares in Tesla, because he's not, from what I understood, he's not getting a salary, but he got a lot of shares which are worth a lot of money right now. And the shares are worth a lot of money because everybody wants to own, or a lot of people want to own Tesla shares. And he said back then that he will pay over 11 billion in taxes this year. So actually I think it was for 2021, but they will be paid in 2022 most likely. So you see 11 billion in taxes because he had to exercise his option. And it should be said, when he started selling the shares in order to raise this 11 billion for paying the tax, the prices of the Tesla shares dropped. If you follow this channel, you know that I don't really believe in the prices of Tesla shares. I think they are overpriced and not realistic, and I do not agree that the company will be worth that much in the near or more distant future. But it's just an awareness exercise that the billionaires do pay taxes. And if he's having a lot of shares, that doesn't mean that he's having a lot of money which are available for him. And if he starts selling shares each and every year in order to pay 20% of his gains, every billionaire, this might affect all of us, meaning that this might reduce simply the value of the stock exchange, so the market capitalizations and the gains on the stock exchanges. Yeah, that's what's actually concerning me. Just as I have said, I'm not defending the billionaires. They should pay their fair tax share, and but I'm more interested in how this will affect everyone. And just as I have said, from economic point of view, it doesn't make any sense to pay taxation on unrealized gains of any nature. Imagine that you have a house which is doubling its price. You didn't sell it, but you just have to pay on this, so it's going from 100 to 200, let's say, and on this 100 you need to pay 20%. What do you do if you don't have the money available, and instead of paying the taxation when you sell the tax when you sell the house, you need to pay it immediately when the price of the house increase or something like that? I know this probably won't happen because it's more difficult to have such evaluation for all the houses, or I don't know, for antiques, other collectibles and so on and so forth, but probably the politicians are basing themselves that they have some sort of value to date on the stock exchanges, and that this can be implemented easier. It remains an interesting topic, and once we get news about it, I will address it again. Probably I won't change my mind or my opinion about this. This was it for today. Thank you for watching me. You can support me through liking this video if you liked it, commenting in the comment section below if you have something to add to the topic, sharing with somebody that might be interested about these topics of taxing unrealized capital gains, specifically in the United States, but it might spread in the rest of the world as well. And most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to my channel, to hit the bell notification button, and you will never miss an update on my site. I do them quite regularly these days on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. You should expect new and hopefully interesting videos from me. Also below this video you have two links. One is to create an eToro account and trade their CFDs, which are like mirror images of the shares, and not only, they also have cryptocurrencies there and so on and so forth, and you will do that without a commission or a fee, which is always a saving, no matter how often you are doing, whether you do it daily or once per year. Not paying a commission or a fee is always a saving. And below that link you also have another one with an Amazon wishlist with hardware and software items which can help improve the quality of my videos, thus being beneficial for you. The reason is simple: you will get better videos from me. But honestly, from financial perspective, this is the most inconvenient for you. The easiest way, which is costing you absolutely nothing, is just subscribing to my channel and continuing to watch my videos. Just as I said, it doesn't cost you anything, and it will help a great deal and will be very beneficial for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, my name is Alex. This is my finance and accounting education channel, and I look forward to presenting to you with the next opportunity. Goodbye.